This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
There's a lot of self-proclaimed geniuses out there that know the national yield, but they're all wrong.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, July 31st, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you get any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area. I'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets are December corn down 2.5 at 466. September soybeans are up 1.5 pennies at 11.73 3/4. And September Chicago wheat was down 9.5 at 654. This morning, we had an export sales announcement, 252,000 metric tons of soybeans. Those were to unknown destinations, and that was for new crop 26. Good morning, guys. If you look at the radar, getting it's a pretty active pattern here, really across the majority of the Corn Belt. So obviously that's going to be the forefront of everybody's mind, certainly as we head into the weekend. Ben, a little bit of a poor technical trade here the last couple of days. Give us a few thoughts as we wrap up the week, and then we'll throw around the room.
Yeah, I think that, it's the chicken or the egg conversation, right? Justin mentioned yesterday that August is typically a difficult long. And when you look at the radar and the rains that they have consistently put back in are performing this morning, we've seen some pressure on corn below the 200-day moving average right now. The 50 comes in at 460. And you have to see what is the appetite to stay long this market when the technical picture starts to break down. Couple that with probably quite a bit of old crop that still has to be purged. And I think going to go back to whatever it was, maybe Monday morning. Like I think we're heading into a sell rallies for a little period in corn here. That being said, there's a lot of outside influences that are, that definitely can have an impact on grains, particularly what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and the Strait of Hormuz. So, I think it's going to remain volatile, but technically this would be where you would be looking for some exiting of some long. So we'll see when it comes to corn. Soybeans probably a little bit more question on weather since it's August. But it looks like we're going to have at least a good shot of rain over the next few days to head into another warm and dry period. How we finish remains to be seen, but weather models were consistent from the early Saturday runs through the whole week that we were nudging cooler for the short term and definitely more precipitation that was not on there. So, the backdrop of August being a tough month to be long. I'm not super enthusiastic today, but it's the end of the month. Maybe they try to dress it up and run some people back in the other way. And we get into August, and typically just not an easy time to be long grains. Beans, still some possibility there if things dry up and we get hot on the latter half of August.
Yeah, Justin, we were talking for the show. Interesting. They hammered oil overnight. We had 1,566 deliveries. I know some were re-registered, but maybe touch a little bit on that came out.
Yeah, they Cargo put out 500 new oil overnight on the Illinois River. So they quickly put oil down 150, basically $0.015 overnight. So it feels like it's, the August contract's been liquidating going into first notice day ahead of that, so that makes sense now, I guess. Oil's probably had the best fundamental story by far, and it's kind of liquidating, breaking down. They're massive long in oil and really the entire bean complex. So I think there's a lot of vulnerability there. Just to add to the comments, a week ago, going home last Friday, I think there was, we were on the highs of the move. We had a 70 to 80 cent rally in corn and $1.50 or so in beans. And the weather models changed, and it's not what it was a week ago. So I think you have to adapt to it. It didn't pan out. You know, the hot, dry forecast changed, and it's wet. It's raining right now. Actually, shocked we're not down more right now. To be honest with you, we're 20 cents off the highs, or 20 cents off of where we were last Friday in corn. So yeah, I think there's some, you know, friendly stuff maybe out forward in corn. It's just the next 30 days, I think it's going to be a really tough to be long. I mean, you know, like we've been talking on the show, we have some really big yields written down, and, you know, not sure that we're going to hit those yields or not. But the fact of the matter is we're raining in areas that needed it really bad right now, and we're having a good fit. So I think corn's going to be sold on rallies. It's going to be tough to take those recent highs out, those last week's highs out, I think. Unless something, it have to be something non-weather related, I think, at this point, to push them back up to new highs.
In your opinion, Justin, I mean, if we'll obviously take a look at what actually falls in the observed precip. But I mean, do you take a disaster off the table with what you see on the radar this morning moving across?
100%. I mean, there's no, it's not I think you already probably had a disaster off the table. Mm-hmm. You know, the Western belt, you know, Dakotas, Minnesota, we're starting to really burn up. I think this saved that from happening. But again, we don't need a disaster to have a friendly market. We just need not a record yield, in my opinion. You know, if you had sub 180, you'd have a pretty friendly market, call it post-harvest. But just, again, like to Ben's point, to my point earlier, it's just a really tough time of the year to have a big long on a big rally. So I think you're, you know, unless we find some real big government report shockers, we lose some acres or yields come down, you know, whatever. I think between now and call it mid-September is going to be a tough long in corn. Doesn't mean we have to go make contract lows or go collapse, but as far as having another leg higher than what we just saw, I think will be tough.
Well, I was going to say, Justin, like call it 465 or 460 corn, whatever it is. I mean, that's a tough spot anyway, you know, it was a kind of a 485, 50 type of environment, or you go really low and you capture all the crop insurance and government stuff. And, you know, I mean, this is kind of the no man's land, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, 466 right now, I mean, that's been a good price the last several years. You know, the fact that inputs went up a whole bunch is irrelevant once you plant the crop, right? Those are all stories pre-plant of, you know, our farmer's going to plant because they can't, you know, we already did plant it. So now none of that matters. The market does not care once you plant it, you know, market doesn't care what inputs were when you planted, right? So those are all old stories now. So it can go to any price it wants. And to your point, it's a matter of, you know, like we always talk about, finding balance where your crop insurance kicks in. You know, some of our clients they're going to be below trend, you know, and some are going to be quite a bit above trend, right? So how you market around that is, you know, that's where you have to, you know, this is the time of year where you have to kind of customize that. But to your point, it's not an exciting level by any means, but you can't rule out that we go, you know, test contract lows either between now and September 1st. That wouldn't surprise me. Or what would surprise me now is that if we went and made new highs, that would be telling. So.
Very good. Got a couple minutes here, Ryland. October fats, pretty incredible. We're $10.50 off the lows from Monday. So what a week there. They're battling. Hogs, on the other hand, basically have given up their entire month. And that's a little disheartening. So why don't you put a bow on the week for us?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a good rally, you know, and it still was going yesterday. I mean, I think just overall, a lot of the bad news kind of baked in here. Started to see some trade at the beginning of the week, 231, 232. Packers came out yesterday bidding 232 and 365 for dress. So overall, it seems like there's a little bit more of a positive sentiment that we are going to see things turn around seasonally here. We're just not seeing it in the beef right now. Beef price is still weak here. Choice 360.50 down 293 and select 341.30 133 down 108. So I mean, we're just not seeing that bounce in beef yet. Last year it was pretty much this time where that was it, and we started back up, and the market's trying to get in front of it a little bit. No question that we were oversold. I think you got a lot of guys just a lot of short covering in general, especially that cash sentiment starting to improve. But we'll see. I don't think we're totally out of the woods yet. So I think there's going to be a lot riding on just the net change in the beef going into next week. And if we do see this demand start to pick up here before the kind of late summer holiday, and in the hogs, yeah, I mean, we pretty much gave it all back in 2 days. I mean, $7, pretty quickly here, and open interest down 7,200 contracts. So we are seeing quite a bit of liquidation here. And I think you just look at the time on the clock and just the performance of the carcass right now. Like, this whole rally has pretty much been led by bellies, and at this point, ham market has been exceedingly disappointing. So it just feels like at this point it would be kind of a shock if we actually kind of got back and actually made new highs here. So I don't think anybody's expecting anything like that. And just overall, the cash trend still a little bit weak going into the end of the year. And last year there was quite a steep break between this time frame and December. And I think everybody's kind of looking at that and seeing where the opportunities are going to be in the back end of the market here, and just trying to get in front of that potential seasonal down. So overall, bellies were up yesterday, but it just feels like we're kind of coming to the end of this run here, especially just based on the last cold storage report. It doesn't look like we've got any shortage of supply right now, just sitting in freezers in general. So I think it's kind of a little bit of a negative spin kind of from here on out. So we'll see if the market can finally find some support, but right now just not really seeing it just yet. And I think the market's looking a little bit forward here.
Very good, right? Appreciate the updates. So have to apologize to Brian. He was here at the crack of dawn getting ready for Fun Fact Friday because I put him on the spot yesterday. So he's assured me that it's a real good one. What do you got first, Brian?
Oh, thanks, Dan. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. We made it. Today's Friday Fun Fact is dedicated to Landon, one of our sales reps out of Iowa. Yes, he was in town for meetings this week and couldn't talk more about this bicycle event through the state of Iowa called RAGBRAI, which stands for Register's Annual Great Bicycle Bicycle Ride Across Iowa. It is one of the oldest, largest, and longest multi-day bicycle touring event in the world. It started in 1973 as a casual challenge between two Des Moines Register journalists, has now morphed into a rolling 400-plus mile carnival across the state of Iowa. It's less of a cycling event and more of a giant week-long party on wheels. During the first race, some 114 readers joined, including an 83-year-old man, Clarence Pickard, who rode a used lady Schwinn wearing woolen long underwear and a silver pith helmet. I asked, what's a pith helmet? It's a metal safari helmet. So this is all in 100-degree heat for this 83-year-old man. So he went down as a legend. So here are some wacky and wild traditions. This is kind of a neat one, though. Riders start the week dipping their rear bike tires in the Missouri River on Iowa's west border and finish dipping their front tires in the Mississippi on the east border. I thought that was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, a legendary staple of the route is Mr. Pork Chop. Cooks thick pork chops over a massive open fire, signaling hungry riders with his iconic pork chop call chant. Sounds like there's a lot of pork pies and alcohol during this week of riding. Then Landon left this one out, but they have naked beer slides, notorious for the late night community. I'm remember the wilder camping sites. You'll ride up on vendors with signs that say gin and tonic free, margaritas free, cold water $2. And here's a real strange one. It's a weird tradition. They decorate roadkill, possums, deer, skunks, raccoons with Mardi Gras beads and sunglasses. And lastly, here are some of the famous riders besides Landon, of course. Lance Armstrong, Matthew McConaughey, and Olympic cyclist Nelson the Cheetah Vales, who is the fastest bicycle rider, went 183 miles per hour on a bike. So that's, I don't know how you get to those levels on a bicycle. It sounds like Chris Kroll on a bike. Actually.
Like an Indy car.
I think we have a nice pick of Landon in the race last week.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Oh, look at Jack
Is
joined
that
him.
Jack? With the pork chops.
With the
Yeah.
pork
I can hang with the pork chop guy.
Oh, yeah.
We had another one of landing up in a tree, but we thought we'd keep that in house. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we don't need the slide pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy
it's a-
Friday, everybody.
Going,
All
Brian.
right, thanks,
Very
Brian.
good. Let's see. We just came into the open here. Got December corn down 2.5, 466 is the last. September beans are up 3 cents now, 11.75 1/4. And September Chicago wheat down 10.5 at 6.53. The link is in the description. Check out the War Room Report, access to premium content, reactions to USDA reports, and just an overall deeper dive into everything we talk about here daily on the War Room. Also, a portion of those subscription fees goes directly to support the AgYield NextGen Foundation, which of course puts on our national scholarship competition every year there. So check that out. If you have any questions on how to support, please give us a call. We appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and subscribe. We're doing this every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments here this morning, guys. It was a good show. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday.
The War Room is presented by AgYield, a risk management partner of American grain farmers for over 50 years. Looking for more in-depth analysis? Check out the War Room Report. Our team's knowledge and expertise delivered straight to your inbox every weekday. Each report delivers key market-moving headlines, critical weather updates, USDA report breakdowns, and exclusive video content, all for $50 a month. And most importantly, 10% of every subscription will go directly to support the AgYield NextGen Foundation, a nonprofit investing in agricultural education and the future of farming. To sign up for the War Room Report, check out the link in the description or learn more at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.